is it Morgan Freeman who said, he was talking about Black History Month and so forth. Of course, we're in Black History Month in February. He said, look, I don't think Black history is American history. American history is what we are. And if you want to quit talking about racism, or if you want to stop racism, quit talking about it. That's what he said. Well, I mean, yeah, Morgan Freeman, you want to end racism, quit talking about it. And quit highlighting it. As I said, Morgan Freeman pointed out many, many years ago, Black history is American history. American history is Black history. If you want to end racism, quit talking about it. We got to. You got to quit talking about it. You got to quit, pointing out that this person's black or this person's white, and just get along, I guess.
Good morning, Bill. How you getting along this morning?
Hey, good. How are you?
Yeah, well, I've learned something new yesterday. I've learned that if you're black and you go into a Walgreens and you steal from it, that's reparations, and that's perfectly okay.
Mm-hmm.
There were no white people, and there were no white people because it was a tribute to black artists. So you have that's what the underlying theme was.
And look, I realize I'm coming at this from a point, I am a white male. Sorry, I can't change that. In decades past, yeah, there probably was some disadvantage for being one color or another. Look, to the black and brown communities, we are, if you're not voting for me, you're not black enough. You heard that comment come from Joe Biden during the 2020 election. There's people that they're finding out now that I thought I've been black all my life, and now they find that they have some heritage in their history that would preclude that, or that others came from this, or that even people that thought they were white all their lives.
And then the black quote, and you and I had this discussion. What's the name of that song? Lift Up Your Voice.
Lift every voice.
Lift every voice. So, Are you saying that is not a black national anthem?
What my contention is that when you highlight that as a national anthem for one group of people, it further separates our country. And I don't look at that as, well, there's 5 black guys playing or 5 white guys playing. I don't care. It's the sport, it's the fun, it's the camaraderie. Look at it. I mean, we see the NBA football is predominantly people of color, because for whatever reason there's a proclivity, the fact that they are a bit more athletic, or maybe it's that is their focus. I'm not sure.
Can we ever just get past it when you got racism in the end zone?
Yeah.
And you got this going on, and you got a tribute to black artists on television, and I'm thinking, why can't we just quit talking about that?
I wanted my employees to look like my customers. Now, it didn't always happen all the time, but the idea, the mix was to understand that, if you have, maybe you have 20% Asian Indian that were your clients. I might want to make sure that I might have an Asian Indian teller.
What's next? An LGBTQ song, a Chinese American song? I mean, we got to get all these different songs out of the way before we can play a football game.
There were people that voted for Barack Obama because of the color of his skin. And that's okay. I mean, I didn't like it at the time, but because then I was listening to somebody over the weekend, and they were talking about black and brown voters and how they predominantly 90% plus continue to vote for Democrats.
So let me see if I understand this. Is everything getting represented now except you, me? A couple of old white guys?
Let's have Old White Guys Month.
I like that idea.
I really believe we are past that. But yet we want to go back, and we got to pull people in and go, well, wait a minute, your mom's white, your dad's black, or vice versa. What do you identify as? And she's got Oriental heritage as well. I mean, yeah.
Well, it's Indian, if you want
Indian,
to call
that's
that
right. Yeah,
Oriental.
okay. Yeah, well, not Oriental. You're right. Asian Indian. Okay. Or if I had a number of 30, 40, 50%, 40% people of color, I wanted to make sure I had someone on my staff that matched that. I'm not black. I've been white all my life. He's been black all his life. It's not, you can't, I guess we could. We got men changing into women, women changing into men. They can be whatever they want to be. I heard the same sentiment come back to say, well, there were people that voted against Barack Obama because of the color of his skin, and I can't deny that either. So I guess I could say I'm going to identify as a black male. I don't know. And look, I'm all for understanding diversity. And if you need, you know what, we really need someone of color for whatever reason. We have, for whatever reason you say that, that's okay. But go get the best. I saw something today about the, quote, white population in America in 2010 and in 2015 and 2020 and so forth. If we said, here's whatever the number is, dollars, to every person of color in the United States of America who maybe can point back to their family history that says they were a product of slavery, and if everybody got something, at the end of the day, within hours, days, weeks at the very most of getting any kind of reparations, there would be something else. Why do many people of color continue to vote Democrat? We are still caught up in playing a color card. That someone is a person of color, black or brown, or you got a white, Caucasian, and this. I do see a lot of people, white, black, Asian, all kinds of mixes in between. And I will give, I'll say that rightfully so, there are probably a lot of white people, if you will, and I'm trying not to, offend anybody if you're offended by the term white people or black people. I just want to be open and absolute about it. What many generations of people of color fought for was inclusion, and now they want exclusion. They want to be excluded. Why? And yes, there are a number of people, but there's a lot of people of color too. Generally speaking for today, and I know everybody's situation will be different, it's not going to be because you're black or you're white or you're Hispanic or you're Asian or whatever the case is. And to a person of color, I wouldn't expect them to, I wish I'd have been born white. I don't want you to do that. I hope you don't. You can't change it. It doesn't matter. You're right. There's a vast number of fans that are white compared to black, probably a majority. Yeah, and I think that's what many of us, I don't care whether somebody is black or white or Asian or green or whatever. But again, as I said to start out the hour, we flipped it. It's not now separating whites from blacks or blacks from white. Let me back up and rephrase that. It's not separating blacks from the whites. It's now separating many and all nationalities from people of color. We included. Now we want to go back to exclusion. And the funny part is, it's the people of color that seem to be wanting the exclusion. Numbers don't lie. You can look at a football team, and there are a majority of players of African American descent. I give you that. It doesn't matter that someone is a person of color, or that they're Anglo-Saxon white, or that they're Asian, or that they're Hispanic. It matters that they're Americans. Was it Spencer asked me one time, would you not want to be white, or would you want to be black? You know what? I can't change that. Why would I want to visualize, if I'm black, I'm this, if I'm white, I'm that? You are what you are. As we talk about Morgan Freeman, he said, look, I don't believe that we should have Black History Month, because Black history is American history. American history is Black history. If you want to quit talking about, if you want to end racism, quit talking about it.